What's going on YouTube? Mox Opal here. We're doing another review today. This is a Mad Hatter. This one right here is an authentic Mad Hatter, so this one's kind of old. So I'm going to show you the specs of most of it, and we're going to take a look at it. It even working because I actually refurbished it. I do refurbish mods and tanks, and also on top of vaping consistently, all that. So, but this is an authentic Mad Hatter, 22 millimeter in diameter with a stainless steel construction. And the hat is actually what flips open so you can drip. It has the engraved logo. It's got a 3-post design inside with adjustable airflow. So actually, like old school, they started it on this. What it is on this side actually is on this side too. And the airflow actually comes from directly underneath of the coil, straight up. So that's actually not too bad for airflow. Like, this thing has airflow for days. I'm not going to be flipping the hat open and dripping to show you, because since this is old one, I have not replaced the O-ring inside of there, because a buddy of mine just gave this to me, and we had it open, but like, it's still, the O-ring is kind of stiff. We haven't replaced it yet, so it's kind of hard to close it again without having to sit there and hold it down until it pops back in. But that is actually how you I mean, you can flip her open or you can drip straight through here. I mean, it's pretty easy. In replacing an old school Mad Hatter, wasn't all that hard. It had the same kind of post designs as what we do now for a lot of RTAs with the screws. Even the hinge right here for the door has the same type of like Allen wrench key, but very, 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 very tiny. So that's been a kind of a challenge to actually take her off and get all of the O-rings out of there and all that stuff, because we're still hunting down the screw or the Allen wrench key that goes to that. But this is what the Mad Hatter looks like. Airflow all the way, on both sides. Got the hinge there, so it flips open. Nice, cool looking neon green color. Nice logo on it. On the bottom of a authentic one, and I think on the newer ones too, says Mad Hatter and the serial number. I think now they just say like made in USA or something like that, which they are still technically made in USA, the company that makes them, but they do ship from China, weirdly enough. But pop it right on open. As you can see, it's a 3-post design on a Mad Hatter, same as like even the newer ones. The only thing that's different on the newer Mad Hatters is the hat. The hat's a little bit different, but it's still the same concept. It's just a hat shaped differently, but everything else is the same. There's 3 O-rings that say here. I actually took one off because it sits on there better with the 2 O-rings than what it does the 3 O-rings. So I don't know if that really impacts stuff. I'm going to grab a tool real quick. That way we can take a look at this in depth. So you'll put your coil one side in here, and you'll put another side of that same coil in the middle. Same here, you'll put one here, and then another side right in there. But what I suggest is you put your coil in like the one here, and then you snip your leads, and then you come over here, put one side in, and then put your other side in, snip the leads on it, and then kind of place them where you want them. But you want both of these coils also to be over top of the airflow, and the airflow is literally right in the middle on each side. This one I have a little bit off. On this one side, it's over the airflow, but not directly over it, because this one's a little tough because you got to put them on there and your coil's going to be over here. So you got to kind of push your coil over some to be on the airflow. It can be a little difficult at times with this one, because that second coil, there's not much leeway, because you got 2 posts inside of here. Like, the side's easy to move, but when you're trying to push her over because of that, like, it's pretty strong in the middle. But I mean, it really doesn't hurt it much as long as you don't cover that airflow. It's got very deep juice well. So, I mean, it looks like I have a lot of cotton in there, but legitly, that's not a lot of cotton. Um, it's barely even touching the bottom of the juice well inside of there. And it's only 2.5 millimeter cotton and a 2.5 millimeter coil. I have two of them in there, and I think actually that these, since this is an authentic, was set up back in the day in a parallel series. So like even if that you're putting two coils in there, say like what I have in there, I've got from my local vape shop an Anguston brand coil, and it's a flat twisted coil at 0.32 ohms. There's two of them in there, so you would think, oh, you're gonna get 0.64 or a little bit more, a little bit less. Well, these are actually back in the day were set up parallel, so you're actually going to be cutting that basically almost in half, and it's only sitting at about 2 ohms, like 0.2. But it still fires up since there's two of them. I mean, you're still technically firing 0.64 to a point, but the way a mod actually works with that is if you got two in there and it's on parallel series, it kind of dumbs it down. You're still getting the full effect of both coils, but it's going to be like 0.2 ohm instead of like, you know what I mean. It basically only reads one coil at that point and then splits it in half. So like 0.32, it's going to be, you know, the 0.18, but it's still going to fire both as one. So you're still technically getting the 0.32, but in a different kind of way. But I'm going to be making a video about all that type of stuff here soon within the next week, so take a look out for that video. That's going to be like your battery law, you know, laws, your parallel, your series stuff, your squonk stuff, your battery safety, your Ohm's law, all of that. I'm going to be making a video on that because a few people have asked me about that, like what's the difference between coils, why do you need the ohm stuff out, certainly. So I'm going to be making a video about all of that stuff, and I'll probably do it live because I'm going to do a couple builds, like maybe on this and a couple other things. So, because I do have a surprise build that I'm going to be doing also here live pretty soon too. So, if you guys catch me live, tell your friends about me too. Like, you like videos, subscribe, get them to like and subscribe. You know, because I also make it a point to go out and get the hardest mods that I can and the hardest tanks that I can too, and also do builds on them, show you the aspects of them. And I, unlike other people, am an asshole. Like, I will break this mod down to every aspect and tell the company you're a fucking retard type person. So definitely, if you want some friends, you know, if you got friends that want some knowledge and all that type of shit, tell them like and subscribe. Throw me a message, throw me an email, something like that, and I will look for, you know, I'll make sure that I try to respond, but throw me an email or a comment of like what mods or tanks that you would like me to do a review on, even disposables, any of that, and I'll make it a point to actually go out and actually find them and do a review on them for you. Not a problem. I enjoy doing that. So, but let's dive back down into this. So we got two flat twisted coils on here, and as I said, they're parallel. So I mean, you're getting not as many ohms basically, but the same amount, but in just a different way because it's parallel instead of series mode. So, but this juice well sits probably first O-ring to maybe second O-ring. Like, it's deep, but it's not deep. It's very weirdly placed on like the side right here, because you got it, like, it kind of goes under the coil because the coil comes this way, because you got to put your coils right over top of the airflow. So like putting the cotton in isn't hard, but it can be a pain in the ass because you got that coil going straight right there. So you got to like tuck her down straight down, and then if you need to, you can push a little cotton, you know, out forward afterwards. But it's just a straight 3-post design. I replaced them. I had Phillips screws that were in there from back in the day, but I replaced them with the gold-plated Allen wrench keys, which actually made it fire a lot better and a lot quicker. There's not really much to it. This is an old school RDA, parallel, 3-post, dual airflow, 3 O-rings here. And let's see if we can actually see inside of this though too. So you got 2 airflow slots here, the hat, couple hinges there, and they actually do make screws and tools to actually do it. I just haven't got to it. And this is why we're not opening it up because that O-ring right there is actually what's holding this shot. Alright, so when we flip it open, this one being authentic and being an old school authentic, like I said, you can only get your hands on clones as far as I know right now of this mod. So they're not made like this, but they are kind of thing, you know, so I don't really want to mess with it and break it too much. But if we open this, it is really, really hard to keep it closed, to keep it to stay closed like that. I mean, you know what? Screw it. We'll open her up just to show you. See, it kind of just, that's how you'll drip. You pop that head open just like that, and you drip, and see there's a big O-ring right here. Like big. And that's what we're actually now trying to refurbish and replace, because like I said, I refurbish kind of mods, and I also redo tanks and stuff. And this one's quite old, as you can see. It's pretty deformed. Like, this is actually an original O-ring that's on there too. You had a pretty deep well that's right there too. This thing is wide open airflow. We're going to try to get her closed again, since this is so old and such a pain. She's going to prove me wrong and close quite easily. But that's basically your tank part there. And what you do is you just kind of line your airflows back up and just pop her back on there. But I'm going to adjust my airflow a little bit because I like mine a little restricted. And we're going to vape on her a little bit. We're going to put her at 75 watts, 0.18 ohms. Got her on the Vaporesso. Oh, wrong way. Put her on the Vaporesso, that way it's kind of, it regulates the mod, because you got that that reader scanner thing in there that kind of like, this is what your coil is and what your tank is and all that. So we're going to go ahead and drip on this. We're going to throw some cookie butter on here. This flavor is phenomenal. And all I usually do is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Because you don't, like, you know, an old school one, you don't want to go fill it too much and come out your air holes right there. Still, for being old school, authentic, and firing like a beast. About 4 hits now. My whole bedroom is almost clouded. That's why I have the fan on back there too, because that fire alarm, for some reason, every damn time with this mod, I get so many clouds, I will set that thing off quick as could be. This thing, for any RDA that I've used now, like even the Wotufo Profile Mesh PS, even a Zeus that I've used. I haven't used many because I've been just getting into it lately. This thing has amazing flavor. And the airflow on this thing is just actually insane. I'm actually going to open her all the way up, but just because of that cloudage and that flavor and that airflow. That is just amazing hitting, amazing flavor. The ramp up on it is actually nice for having 2 coils that are inside a parallel series. Just amazing tasting. So, like I said, the clones that they make now are about the same as what that is, except for the hat, and I think the airflows have been tweaked a little bit, and I know the screws and like the posts have been. Basically, it's the same thing with just like the newer modern type of materials for the metals, the screws. You know, instead of like stainless steel, they're using that aluminum die cast stuff, which actually is a lot better a lot of times for videos. It all around, I give this one probably a 10 out of 10. Honestly, for this Mad Hatter, I have not actually tried a clone. I will try to find a clone to use for you guys, and that way we could take a look at both aspects. But out of anything that I use that I can compare that to, I would actually compare that to like the Wotufu Profile PS Mini Edition, the dual one. It's not as big, and you have to drip a little bit more, yeah, but the flavor and the firing is about the same as that. Like, it's just right there on point. Now, like my Zeus one or a couple RTAs that I have, or even a couple other RDAs I have, it doesn't even compare in flavor to them. Ooh, excuse me, at all, by far. This thing is actually amazing. And for being an authentic, I'm surprised it actually still works, because a buddy of mine got this probably, oh man, I want to say at least a good 10, 11 years ago. And he was like, hey, happy birthday. I know you like RDAs. Take a look at this Mad Hatter. So I was like, oh, for sure. I'll take that. Yeah. Yeah, we could even kick it up a notch, actually. Because even at the 0.1, see now it read down to 0.16. Probably because my battery started dying. I'm actually going to put it at about 85 watts. We're going to kick it up another 10 watts. Just because like that flavor's there, and it's the... I think it could handle it all the way up to probably about 100 watts, honestly. Still the same smoothness. Like the other day, I put a 6 milligram inside of this, a very harsh tasting one that I have inside of some of the other sub-ohm coils. I mean, it was a pretty harsh tasting one, but I put it in here and it just like sweetened it out, mellowed it out for some reason. But if you can find a clone, let me know down in the comments, or send me an email. The link for my email is actually in my file. If you like RDAs and Mad Hatters, and you like the content I've been making, like and subscribe. Let's get your friends going on there too. And I'll make sure that I get them hard and rare to find ones, and even some of the older ones too. Because people don't like to throw their stuff away, you know. They like to keep up with modern, yeah, but they like to keep their old school too and use it every now and then. So let's get some followers going, and we'll keep all the old school plus all the new school and all the very hard and rare stuff to find going, you know, for sure. But that is the Mad Hatter. This is the green edition. Anybody that's got a clone, let me know how it actually tastes and where you got it from too, because I might pick up a couple to do a comparison review on it too. Moxo Bloat.